What's your definition of patience? Well, I'll give you one that a lot of people have used, including me in the past. Enduring a pain that can absolutely take you to the pit. And the reason why you endure it is because of what's known as deferred hope. You're thinking that somehow things are going to change, but unfortunately, deferred hope is dysfunctional. It puts all the responsibility on you to make this situation better. And instead, what happens? Circumstances continue to increase in a way that steals your future. I don't know about you, but that definition of patience that I've actually lived through before doesn't add to the quality of your life. It actually puts you in a place of absolute overwhelm, of increasing your allostatic load, your stress load, to the point to where you will continue to overperform until you go past the point that that is possible, and then your system begins to break down. You can no longer focus. Your feelings are ones that absolutely swamp you. And your actions, well, hey, I found myself curled up on the floor in a fetal ball before. That is not the true meaning of patience. If we look at the Greek, the true meaning of patience is to be consistent and stable no matter what happens. But that consistency and having things in an order comes along with calmness and vibrancy. Now, that's the type of patience I want, to be absolutely vibrating with the fact that I'm going to be able to move into progress. And right now, I've experienced a lot of losses. You know, this is supposed to be the season of goodwill and hope and getting ready to start the new year. I've lost dreams, wishes, hopes. I even lost a close friend who died just a couple of days ago. So I'm talking to God, going, what's my mission through all of this? Now, I'm going to give you a sidebar that a lot of people go, what's my purpose? I just had a brand new client ask me that 2 days ago. I need to discover my purpose. I'm moving into a new chapter in my life. Well, before you can know your purpose and your path, you have to understand your mission and your vision. I'm actually going to be releasing a podcast on that. I've decided that between the YouTube channel and the podcast channel, I'm actually going to give you two different types of content instead of just recreating on one what you can hear on the other. So episode 377 is your purpose will be revealed once you understand your mission and your vision. So that's going to be episode 377 that's going to be released coming up in the next couple of days. The link for the podcast will be down in the description of today. So what's my mission through all of this? And I'm going to give you a heads up. A mission is all about me. Your mission is all about you. It is who you are to become. It is revelation knowledge. So I'm talking to God about all of my losses, and I don't want to endure pain. I want to experience progress. And what I was told back is that my mission right now through all of these losses is to thrive no matter what. That's stability. Now, if you've been in my world for a while, you know that I have been diagnosed with complex post-traumatic stress injury. I don't necessarily call it a disorder because injuries heal. You know, where my arm was broken whenever I was 12 because I ticked my dad off and he used a belt, the buckle end, and it happened to wrap around right above my wrist and snap that arm right in half. But when it healed, it actually became the strongest part of my arm. So decades later, when I slipped on a piece of ice and I put my arm out to catch me, nothing shattered. It dislocated pretty intensely, but it didn't shatter because of where it healed. So I got some healing to do then through these losses. That's my mission, to thrive no matter what, because whenever I go through some losses, it can trigger that complex post-trauma, and I can go back into survival. No more. So, to be able to use your patience in a way to where you can be stable and consistent with calmness and vibrating, well, some people go, it's going to take a miracle, Dawn. It's interesting. In the Bible, there was a woman who had been recently widowed. She had gone to one of the prophets and she's like, I got a really painful situation here because there are some debts that are owed. And I've got 2 sons. That's it. And they're going to take them to pay off the debts. So the prophet said, well, what do you have on hand? And she said, a little bit of oil that I was going to use to cook our last meal, and then we're just going to curl up and die. And he's like, that oil is exactly what you need for your anointing. So before you can access resources, you need to understand resourcefulness. And that comes from you and your character, because that whatever you're going through, that in the past triggered dysfunctional patience. Well, now I want it to trigger parts of your character that have been underdeveloped, underutilized, because that character is you that you're going to take into whatever circumstance or situation that you're going to face again in the future. This is what's going to determine whether or not you just survive or you thrive. So let's look at what you've got on hand through STAG, strengths, talents, abilities, and gifts. Strengths. And this is an actual activity that I take my clients through. The one that said, oh, I want to know what my purpose is. She's going through this activity right now. And then when she brings her answers back into me, the next time that we work together, we're going to be able to use this to refine her vision. But again, more of that is going to be on episode 377 on Stop the Self Sabotage and Create the Life You Desire podcast. Okay, so strengths. Strengths are what you've developed because of the BS you've been through in life. Got to use it as manure for your garden of growth. So, what have you discovered about yourself that you're able to do because of some of the situations that you've been put into? Then you have talents. Talents are what you were born with. Some people have a talent of perfect pitch. I do not. I sing. My dog asks me to stop because it hurts. Okay? So talents, you were born with things that you thought everybody had because it's how you were uniquely made, until someone came along and said, not everybody is like you. So look at your talents. Then your abilities. These are things that, well, you had a curiosity about. And so you investigated and you decided to take it further. And then gifts. Gifts are things that have shown up in your life that, yeah, it didn't necessarily come through having to go through BS, but you feel like your higher power said, you know what? You're going to need this. Here you go. So strengths, talents, abilities, and gifts. You want to look at those. Write down 1 to 3 for each of these areas. And so, what do you need to do to stop the self sabotage with dysfunctional patients and create the life you desire by being consistent, stable, calmness, vibrancy, and learning to survive? No, not learning to survive, learning to thrive instead of just surviving. So, you want to tell your powerful mind to find all the people, places, and things, all the situations where your strengths, talents, abilities, and gifts can be used for your benefit. So, right now, whenever a loss might show up in my life, I'll give you a simple example. My puppy had to recently go on anti-seizure medication. And even though the vet said, hey, he's going to sleep for the next week as his body's adapting to it, yeah, that's not the side effect we experienced. Hyperactivity, the dog having a real challenge being able to calm himself. And when you're looking at a 120 plus pound puppy, that can cause challenges. My couch is displaying some of those challenges. Okay, so what I'm doing when those situations show up is I am now saying, okay, my higher power wants me to be able to thrive through this with vibrancy, with calmness. I'm not going to move into strife. Strife, when you open the door to strife of, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. Oh my gosh, this is so terrible. This opens the door for everything to go wrong. So instead, I'm already endowed with what it is I need to be able to steward this experience for success. So, powerful mind, powerful spirit, strengths, talents, abilities, and gifts show up. What is valuable in this situation and what is unique about me in order to move through it. And that's what I continue now to speak over the situations, to speak over the conditions. I have what it is that I need to bring forward. And it is amazing how some of the insights on what to do next have shown up on some resources then came into being. Some people that came into my life and said, hey, you know what? Hey, would you like to go do this? And I'm like, oh, that is exactly what I needed right now. So, stop the self sabotage and create the life you desire is going to be dependent on you becoming resourceful by using what is valuable in the situation to discover more of your uniqueness, of declaring that over the situation and saying, this is here for me to be consistent and stable with calmness and vibrancy, no matter what is taking place outside of me. It is going to produce within me progress. You do that 3 weeks. Yeah, it's going to take up to 21 days to begin to see the effects of this. You do this for 3 weeks, and you will begin to look for what you hold within and being able to use it on the outside. The intrinsic moves to the extrinsic, And then you will start to produce progress and it will show up consistently. I know this is going to take some belief on your part, and you haven't developed that yet. It's okay. Until you get to where you need to be, just borrow my belief in you, because I know that you can do this.